The rap world is buzzing with the reactions to YNW Melly's trial. Some rappers are supporting him while others are skeptical of his innocence. But one thing is for sure, everyone is talking about it. Do you know who they are? Let's take a look at some of the most notable reactions from rappers to YNW Melly's trial. We'll also discuss the case itself and what it could mean for the future of the rap industry. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's take a quick scan of what's happened during the trials. Defense attorney David A. Howard's opening statement in the YNW Melly murder trial focused on discrediting Portland Malik Henry, Melly's friend and alleged co-conspirator. Howard told the jury that Henry had changed clothes before dropping off the bodies of Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr. at Miramar Memorial Hospital. He also said that Henry had lied to the police about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. The statement was an attempt to shift the blame of the murders away from Melly and onto Henry. It remains to be seen whether the jury will be persuaded by Howard's arguments. However, the statement certainly made for an interesting opening to the trial. Defense attorney David A. Howard told the jury that Portland Malik Henry had consistently lied to the police during his testimony. He mentioned the gunpowder residue found on Henry's body during the investigation and asked why police were not going after Henry for the murder of their two friends. Howard also told the court that there was no motive for YNW Melly to shoot his friends and that the state's case was weak. He said that the prosecution had no eyewitnesses to the murders and that the only evidence they had was circumstantial. Reynolds, with reasonable doubt, questions an investigation that is founded on incompetence and incompleteness. Howard also elaborated on his opening statement, giving an account of what he thinks is happening with the case and how the police are trying to pin the murder on his client. If after 4 years of investigation, the state comes and says, hey, he killed two of his best friends, and you're wondering why, and their answer is, I don't know, that's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is by itself a reasonable doubt. Howard also pointed out that the police did not even attempt to search Portland Malik Henry's home or make a proper investigation about the evidence surrounding Henry's arrest. He said, these are all unanswered questions. No investigation, case closed, let's move on. Christine Bradley, the leading attorney in charge of the prosecution team in the YNW Melly trial, presented various pieces of evidence to support the claim that Melly is responsible for the death of his two friends. Bradley's pieces of evidence included cell phone data that showed Melly's movements on the night of the murder, as well as health activity data that suggested that he was active during the time of the alleged drive-by shootings. She also presented video footage from the recording studio that she claimed showed Melly in the car with his friends before they were murdered. The footage showed Melly in the rear driver's seat, which matched with the date of the day that Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr. lost their lives. The prosecutor also included other supposed physical evidence, such as text messages that she claimed the rapper had sent after the murder. One of the messages that the prosecution presented as evidence was a text message that allegedly read, "I did that, shush." The prosecution claimed that this message was sent by YNW Melly after the murders, and it was an admission of guilt. In her opening statement, Bradley said that the evidence showed that Melly had planned the murders in advance. She said that she had called his friends to the recording studio under the pretense of working on music, but he had actually lured them there so that he could kill them. Bradley also said that the evidence showed that Melly had shot his friends multiple times in the head. She said that the motive for the murders was jealousy because Melly was afraid that his friends were going to leave him behind in the music industry. Melly's alleged involvement in the gang named the G-Shine Blood Set was also linked to the murder case. The prosecutor, Christine Bradley, argued that the rapper's gang membership was relevant to the case because it suggested a possible motive for the murderer. Bradley gave David A. Howard, the defense attorney, different motives as Howard earlier said that his client had no motive to have committed the crime. The first motive uncovered by the prosecution was that Melly caught his friend Zach Chaser messing around with his then girlfriend in the days before he was murdered in cold blood. The then Melly's girlfriend was approached to testify about the incident, but reportedly said, "I don't want to have anything to do with the case." The second motive was that Melly was afraid that his friends were going to leave him behind in the music industry. Bradley said that Melly had a history of violence and that he had threatened to kill his friends in the past. The third motive was, as we mentioned before, Melly was simply jealous of his friend's success. Bradley said that Melly was not as popular as his friends and that he was angry that they were getting more attention than him. The defense naturally argued that the prosecution's motives were speculation and that there was no evidence to support them. Melly had also stated many times how important his mother was to him and that if anyone comes after her, they should be prepared for what is coming. It is most likely that his friends didn't take the warning seriously. However, Sack Chaser probably knew that he would be dead, as his mother explained how her son reached out to her before passing and was extremely concerned about his family's whereabouts. She also said that her son mentioned, "I'm probably not going to get my $200,000. I'm probably not going to get my money." The prosecution argued that this motive was supported by the fact that Melly had a history of violence and that he had threatened to kill his friends in the past. They also said that the timing of the payment was suspicious and that it was likely that Melly had only paid Sack Chaser after he was dead to avoid having to pay him the money. The prosecution's case was based on the fact that Sack Chaser was due to receive a large sum of money from Melly and his label, and that Melly was in financial trouble at the time of the murders. The prosecution also points to the fact that Melly had a history of violence and that he had threatened to kill his friends in the past. The defense's case is based on the fact that Sack Chaser had a history of violence himself and that he had allegedly threatened Melly's mother. The defense also pointed to the fact that Juvie was seen with Melly and Sack Chaser on the night of the murders and that he had a history of lying to the police. The jury will have to decide which of these two theories is more likely. If they believe the prosecution's case, then Melly could be convicted of murder. However, if they believe the defense's case, then Melly could be acquitted. The case is still ongoing, and it's too early to say what the verdict will be. However, the questions regarding the motives for Sack Chaser's murder remain unanswered. YNW Melly is a rising star in the rap industry, but his career has been put on hold due to his murder trial. While many of his fellow rappers have shown their support for him, there is also those who are skeptical of his innocence. Boozy Badass was one of the first rappers to speak out in support of Melly. He attended the trial and even posted a video of himself walking down the hallway and sighing at the situation going on in court. Boozy later tweeted, "Melly, I'm not missing any more rap trials. This is education, no cap. Watching the defense and prosecution drop bars and then look at the jurors trying to read them is crazy." Lil Durk also showed his support for Melly by posting a video of himself on a phone call with him in prison. The video was captioned, "Free YNW Melly." Another rapper who enjoyed Melly's musical talent is Drake. He shared a video on his social media where he said, "YNW Melly has the craziest melody, pain in his voice, you know, but not afraid to be like, yeah sure, like I might be this way on the road, but in my music, this is what I enjoy doing." However, not everyone is convinced by Melly's innocence. Legendary rapper Snoop Dogg tweeted, "Melly boy cold. Young'uns do some unquestionable stuff in the industry. Now, is he guilty though?" The tweet was deleted shortly after it was posted. Why though? What do you think? So, what do you think? Is YNW Melly guilty of murder, or is he just another victim of the criminal justice system? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The rap industry is watching closely. Do you think YNW Melly is really trying to pass a death sentence to his friend YNW Portland? Join the comment section and share your thoughts, and don't forget to hit the like button. See you soon, goodbye.